Alright, so moving forward, we have a Lifeweaver VOD, around Gold 2. This game was part of a late night 5 stack with other players on my esports team. Cool. They are roughly plat to diamond. Okay, so a little bit higher than you. No finish my placements for support. 4. Curious to see what you play. Whether you think my rank is boosted because I'm playing with better teammates or if I play well enough. I think it depends. If you went 5-0 and you feel like you got carried every game, then yeah, those wins may have not have been earned and you may be higher than what you thought. But if you like had a couple losses here and there, you felt like you held your own, then it's probably done a decent job in recognizing that you are gold too. Because I think if you go 5-0 and you got carried, then I think it would place you higher than gold too, if I'm being honest. Unless your MMR is a bit stuffed up from queuing into silver lobbies on your main role for so long. I'm not entirely sure. But I think you get a rank, you deserve the rank. That's all it is. You got the rank. Doesn't matter how. Obviously being boosted isn't great, but it's sort of the same thing as playing an absolutely busted hero or a really meta hero, in my opinion. Anyways, also, where am I? I find myself healbotting a bit when I played with this group. However, it was working, so I wasn't looking to change. Okay, that is Lifeweaver in a nutshell. I think at the moment, I think he is stuck in a healbot sort of playstyle purely because it's too clunky for him to do damage with his primary fire, and in a lot of team compositions, you are just playing a healbot. There's not many compositions that Lifeweaver flourishes in where he gives value to his team by putting out damage. He does a lot more by just almost playing like a mercy pocket and enabling other people to play in really aggressive positions due to his healing output. Also, there was a random momentum game we forgot to push cart. Alright, cool. Okay, so I had a quick flick through this game, or at least the beginning of it, and I think the next thing, or the next step, I guess, for you to take, because I think you seem like a Lifeweaver main from the clips I've seen in the channel, in the server and stuff. It seems to be the hero that you play a lot of anyway, if he's not your main. The next thing you need to incorporate into your gameplay, I think, is utilizing Petal more proactively to either put your teammates in power positions and give vertical mobility to heroes who don't have a lot of it. So in this composition, specifically Zarya and Bastion. Sojourn obviously has a jump, slide jump or whatever, and Ilari has a decent vertical ability with her outburst. So they're pretty self-sufficient. I think the two main things being, I can't really see that. One, how do we use it to enable teammates? And I won't try too hard with my handwriting. Enable my teammates and to allow me to do my job better. Those are the two things that Petals specifically does. Rejuvenating Dash is purely a tool to survive. I think if you can use it for mobility, but I feel like that is a really easy way to get punished for using it. Because of the healing it restores, it's really good at quick shift in positioning to dodge key abilities or to briefly stop taking damage, and to also get that healing whenever you're getting pressured or dove. So I think it's mainly a survivability tool, and I think a lot of his kit is like he can do damage if he needs to. If he has to take a duel, he doesn't want to actively take duels, I don't think, but if he gets forced into one, he can. And Petal as well as his dash allow for really great survivability, as well as now his increased health pool and some of it being shield health pool, or shield health as well. And then life pool, I think your life pool usage is good. I just think we're missing opportunities due to our petal usage. Not that the petal is directly causing it, but I think overall our positioning is not suffering, just that it's sometimes you're positioning in ways where you're not giving yourself great view of your team and the team fight as a whole. Sometimes, like certain situations, you want to not obviously be exposed to everything, especially, I guess, in this situation, if they have Hanzo who's scary and also another spam hero and someone who doesn't have damage drop off, and same with her. Obviously, they have a lot of spam, a lot of poke damage, so you don't want to be exposed. But that doesn't. I don't mean you have to be seen by everyone, but you need LOS of your whole team because you need to be in positions to quickly use these abilities if you need to. And so if you're not using the petal to do one, then I think the next step is to use it selfishly and allow you to do your job better. For example, if you're positioning in a way where you have petal available to you and you can see everyone, and the Doom sees this and he sees you and he goes, oh, I'm going to go kill the Lifeweaver, dives in, you can petal upwards, avoid him, and keep doing your job. And it doesn't interrupt you and stop you from doing what you're doing. Regardless, even in the neutral, just having this little bit of elevation and knowing that you're safe from some people walking on you, I guess like primarily like these three, or he has to use an ability just to get to you, can allow you to do your job better. And it also allows, whenever you're on your petal, it allows you to pull your teammates like from, you know, a bad position to a good one, because pulling them to this position isn't necessarily better because it may have the same LOS to the enemy team that this position had, whereas this one might not be, or it might not be accessible to some heroes. So a little bit of a spiel to start off the fight, so apologies for that. But that's the main things. I just wanted to get down those sort of Lifeweaver fundamentals, because at least in his current state, he is a bit of a heal bot, and he's sort of a fixer-upper in terms of he can fix mistakes that your team make, most commonly overextensions, right? And then, but of course, you can still use it to enable your team. We'll get into that though by watching the VOD and stop putting it off any longer. So rolling out as well, you have, you can be a heal bot, especially in this situation, because Alari is very damage-oriented heal support at the moment, and you have a lot of damage output between your DPS and tank. So I'm not sure, did he rocket jump himself up there? I can have a look. Yeah, he did use the card to rocket boost himself, right? So he just took an unnecessary amount of damage to his armor pool and wasted a cooldown just to get to the high ground, when we could have just thrown a petal on the ground here and he can use it whenever he wants to go up here, right? That's the first thing to notice. Similarly, you can put your Xayah in the same position with the same petal, like, you know, two people can take it, and your Xayah can then help you bash and push this high ground. The big thing being, not that right now you're trying to displace them off the high ground because that's where they're holding and you're trying to contest them, but pushing them off this high ground is going to buy more space for you to be able to push up and keep LOS of your team as they aggress, which is what we talked about at the start, which is making sure we always have vision on our team and we're able to assist them. Because you'll see right now, you can't get to your Xayah, you can't help it, right? And this isn't necessarily your fault because there's two very big threats up here, right? So you need to clear them out first. But no one in a team can really do that unless your Alari gets a good headshot with the Sojourn, or you manage to spam them out a bit. It's tricky, right? But it wouldn't be tricky if we were able to petal our team up this high ground, or even up this one, right? Then we would have a lot of space. We obviously don't want to petal ourselves because that just gives easy access to Hanzo to kill us. So you would favor the first option, using your petal in a way to enable your team, right? the best thing you could do for yourself is maybe petal yourself up to the high ground as well. And then, that might be a slightly safer position, but I don't think so. I think better off using it to push your Xayah up onto the high ground. And especially if you're 5 stacking, because you don't have to rely on them seeing it or pinging it or trying to use voice chat. You're just straight up talking to them, so you can tell them like, hey, I'm going to petal you up to the high ground. You can even say it to all 5 people, potentially. I'm not sure if all 5 can fit on one petal or if you start knocking each other off in that circumstance, but you can at least come to them, at least the main 3, right? The supports can stay on the low ground, or like you and the Sojourn can, but you can get the rest of them up there. Also worth noting, I think it is worth charging up to full if you can. Obviously he's critical right now, so you're trying to keep him alive. But if you're ever like charging up a shot before you peak, or they're somewhat healthy and you're just keeping them topped up, I think the best way to play it is by using the full 75 charge. So we keep going here. We have Tree now, and you get Tree so quickly from being a heal bot that I would just be proactively throwing it on the corner that Carter's on right now. We may have been able to deny that Doom engage and save our Alari as well. Or just keep our Xayah sustained while we deal with the Doom, right? You can even put it on the high ground and try and LOS these two a little bit if you wanted to, but probably do more LOS by using the top of the tree because it's wider and placing it somewhere up here. I don't think you need to worry about the damage of it, or like people damaging the tree, because I think it's tanky enough that by the time they do, if they want to focus it, you've probably already gotten a lot of use out of it. Reaper TP's up to the high. Now, this is an opportunity for us to use our petals selfishly, but to get us up here so we can pocket this Reaper and he can clear out this high ground. Your Alari should be able to manage healing a Xayah on our own. Instead, we don't. He has to clear it up by himself. He is successful in doing so, but then, oh my god, that Doom looks cursed as. But then we're getting pressured by the Doom, and we're turning, and we're using Petal, and we're not doing our job. We're not healing. That's fine. Like, that's what we need to do right now because of the situation we're in. But I'm saying use the Petal to avoid ever being in this situation, right? The second that Hanzo is cleared off, you're free. You're safe anywhere on your Petal in this main choke. You don't need to be scared of being up there out in the open, especially not with Rejuvenating Dash. Little bit of micro. Place the Petal somewhere up here. In the tree, sorry. Somewhere up here, because it's LOS based, I believe, so you're not actually getting anything past that line, even though the radius probably goes like that. And you always want to put it in an aggressive position because it's going to give you a lot of sustain, and you want to allow your team to push. If they want to focus down the tree, most of the time there won't be any damage going on your team, so they're going to start to tick up this overhealth. So even if they break it, your team's going to be really healthy and in a good way. But instead your team is like stuck between pushing or getting healing from the tree. They have to pick one instead of being able to do both. And that might have just been a case of not rushing it so much, because it seemed like you sort of threw it down the second you could. And we'll skim through a bit here just so we can making our way through the game. I don't think I'll get through this entire VOD because it's 18 minutes long. But regardless, we should be able to get enough examples of what we're talking about in terms of using Petal a bit more proactively. Like I said, Rejuvenating Dash being a great tool to survive is definitely great reactively. Same with Pull, obviously it's reactive, unless you're comboing it like the Slingshot or like, using it to get someone somewhere. But Petal is definitely proactive. You saw how difficult it was to use it, reacting to the Doom. He immediately punched you off it. And you rush them, and they're generally not in good positions. Whereas you can plan them, you can throw them down proactively, and you can get yourself in a good position. Right now, we sort of have the upper hand. I would be using it to go support our DPS on this off angle, or I would be using it selfishly to reposition myself up onto the high ground so I can peek this little window, or I can peek this little window as our Zai is about to press W into their team. If nothing else, just getting yourself up onto this high ground is going to force the Doom to use a cooldown just to get on the high, rather than just using one to get in. It also just makes it difficult for him to get on you in general. Like, I don't think he would go for something like that. What number are we? F9, 8, 7, 7? So yeah, this is good, right? It's just like a fraction too late from when I suggested it, because you've already given up a lot of space, right? I think even your Sombra may have gotten forced out already. We go to F7. She gets detected, but she does get through, but your Sojourn's given up space. And your Alari did the same thing, because you're both playing a bit too slow, but too reactive, that you end up doing the same play, and then the Junker Queen is unsupported, right? So you need to come with your team like, oh, I'm going to go help the DPS. Usually, if you were able to combo, it's probably better that the Alari off angles and looks for the, because she can do a lot of damage and support people, and use her pylon to support people. And you're a great heal bot for the tank. But in ranked, it's not always so cut and dry and easy to communicate. So you have to make sure that you're seeing these opportunities and going for them. Again, we're just taking it almost got us killed even. But we could be avoiding this by just sitting on our petal instead, right? And again, right, we're dealing with this Doomfist, and it's stopping us from doing our job. Like, our Junker Queen is in right now, you see her going in, then you have to deal with the Doom, then cut LOS of his ult, then save the Sojourn, and we turn back to our Junker Queen, and she's critical. Right, this is what I'm trying to get at, is that you need to be using your petal proactively, so you can be seeing everything, because you're not seeing this. It's not that you're just like making a wrong decision or a different decision, not even necessarily wrong, rather than healing her. You're just not seeing her. You don't need it. You don't know that she needs healing. And that's an issue. That's an issue with all supports, is not looking at your team and knowing where they're playing and knowing what's going on. So it's definitely something to work on with Lifeweaver. Especially being a heal bot, you're even less concerned about looking at their team and trying to, hit a shot like Zen or Ana. Or Bat or Alari trying to put out damage. You have a lot less to think about in terms of, you just need to look at your team. You need to know where your threats are, so you can outplay them or outposition them. But you don't need LOS of them, of anyone on their team, to be honest. You can look for little bits of damage, obviously, but it's always a risk, or it always comes at the price of being able to charge up a heal shot. I saw this earlier, and I wish we could have been quick enough to react to use the tree to just block LOS of this little archway of the Torb, because I wonder if they even touch in that case. Doom probably gets there, but I think it's cool. I think this tree works. And again, this is a decent tree, because it's giving your team LOS and a chance to go aggressive. If you want to be nitpicky, maybe you could say it should go against this wall so that it's in front of payload, so you guys are always pushing them off payload rather than playing on it. But again, there's not much of an issue with that. Not sure why you jumped off the pedal after using it, but it is what it is. Could have just been a heat of the moment thing. But again, we're taking punches from Doomfist. It's fine if he's using his abilities to jump up and punch us off pedal because he doesn't want us up there. But not great that he's just able to punch us because we're standing in front of him or we're on the ground when we could be on our pedal. But this is as far as I watched up to before starting the recording, so we'll see. I don't want to get stuck on any spot. I want to keep it moving, but interested to see. Again, we can be putting our DPS or somebody on this high ground. We can be contesting it. if nothing else, they don't really have snipers at the moment, so we can be pedaling ourselves to have a better view of our team. This is the moment when no one's pushing cart for a bit. Hopefully it's not worse than that. That was pretty bad. And like putting your DPS in a power position by pedaling them, if you pedal yourself and you're just sitting on the pedal on like high up in the air, and then you see an opportunity to get your DPS up there, then you can use life pool aggressively. You may get punished for it because it has a long cooldown and it's better used to save people rather than reposition them aggressively anyway. But it's still something you can do if you see the opportunity, or if you like see that your Sombra has EP or your Sojourn has overcharge and she could use the high ground, or your Alari even. Again, we could be on the high ground doing all of this stuff and more. I think you can see what the deaths sort of are, and I'm not trying to overvalue high ground because it can be bad in certain situations. They have an aerial character, an echo, so that can diminish how safe it is up there. But I think using the pedal more, I think you're not getting enough value out of your cooldowns right now, and it's hard to say if you're getting value out of life pool, because there have not been a heap of opportunities to use it from your point of view. I just don't think you're seeing the opportunities to begin with because of where you're positioned. And I think being creative with pedal or using it more is a good way to instantly alter your positioning for the better. It may still need refining after that, but I think it's a good start, and then we might be able to see more opportunities. But I think we'll just look at this fight on offense, and then we might use the remaining time to look at some defense. Yeah, again, like I think we can be on this high ground. Yeah, there you go. You got punished for using it reactively, took him up with you. So yeah, there's an example of everything I've been trying to say for the past 15 odd minutes. But we'll take a look at some defense now, just to see if there's any differences in playstyle. Obviously, you already have the high ground, so it's less about that, but now it's more about giving yourself LOS of the team fight. Because when you have the space, you can position it just better in general, right? Like you can sort of throw it here, and then you still have like natural cover up here when you're sitting on your platform and you're healing your team, and then you're avoiding any spam coming in. Slash, do they still have Doom? No. If they had Doomfist, like you're avoiding Junkrat spam and Helix rockets and orbs and whatnot. But if they had Doomfist and he did like a rollout where he slammed everyone and like hit a five-man slam, you're now avoiding that, which is not only helping your case, but you're able to see your team and see who was hit by it the most, and you're also able to avoid giving Doom ult charge. So there's a heap of benefits to it. Where are we at? Here we go. And also just putting everyone in front of you avoids you having to do all this looking around, and it just makes your life easier. Makes you have to do less, think about less, and that can open up plays with other parts of your kit slash other people. Pretty straightforward so far. We might speed this up a little bit. Hey, win the team fight. How did Sigma die? Just didn't have LOS of him, right? Just couldn't keep LOS of him because every time you were doing so, you were peeking them really hard. It felt unsafe. Probably an opportunity to life grip, right? Like you can let cart push while you get him topped up again. Pardon me. And if nothing else, you can drop and use life pedal to get him out as well. And then the BAP drops, and that would have been a great opportunity to use life pull on BAP. But again, it's like he's just not in our LOS. It's like it's not even a thought that's entering your mind because you don't see him. You might hear him because you're in a 5-stack, but this would be happening in your ranked games as well when you're not talking to them. Now we just need to die. We're just staggering ourselves a little bit. Fast forward. That's unfortunate. I think we invested a lot. Oh, that was our coalescence, but it was our window. That's 3 ults, and we didn't contest. Unfortunate. We die again. That's whatever. We're dying quickly. Now we can roll out on high with our Ash. Who's to our right or above us? Your whole team is undervaluing high ground a little for plat diamond players, but that's what it is. Yeah, JQ's just feeding. I was gonna see if this was something we could have been better with, but that's just feeding. Which I guess goes with his name. Nice. Good pedal usage. And now you can pull your ball back up to this high ground to save him having to use grapple and get another free engage not using grapple. I'd be pulling my ball straight back up. He's critical. I'd be pulling him up. Anyways. Ball likes to engage without having to use grapple, so you can use it as an escape tool. He gets to do that for free on high ground, so if you pull him back up, he doesn't have to use grapple to get back to the high ground, and then he doesn't have to use it as next engage. Again, I don't think he's... Well, I think whenever someone is in immediate danger, we should be charging our healing up to 75. Got a little bit going, so we might take a look at this next tree and then just go over everything again one more time. This tree should be countering this blizzard. Oh no, we get punished. We're good. Oh, we accidentally fat finger, I think. Oh no, we're gonna get punished. That's unfortunate. Why were we walking up so far anyway? Who are we trying to help? Or what are we trying to do here? The Sombra? She's gone. Was the Baptiste in a window or something? You just get booped and then you get out and you save yourself, but then I think you, unless you were trying to get LOS at the ball, but it's just like he should sort himself out. Either that or it looked like a fat finger initially, like you didn't mean to move that direction when you dashed. But we get punished. That's unfortunate. I want to see this tree usage because this could be another thing to refine. Put it on point. I think this is better, right? This is better on defense. Oh, that's unfortunate. We didn't notice that, I guess. I think on defense, you're wanting to play on point. You're trying to force a fighter on point. So I think placing it on point is fine. I don't think you want to necessarily put it aggressively because you may be forced to play back depending on what they do. Uh, Maybe you can put it on point, but in a position where to get less focused. Like you could put it against this wall, but then that's also limiting the range of it in terms of its like radius. You're making it a semicircle rather than a whole circle. So I think it's cool. I think it's better on defense that you do something like that. But I think on offense, you need to be positioning them more aggressively. But yeah, to sort of recap, I assume you hold them on third because this VOD isn't long enough to go into OT. But to cap everything, I think more like you're just not really using your kit. At least not on the defense anyway. It didn't look like you even used it much. You used your dash, but also a bit as mobility, so be careful with that. But use your petal proactively, use it to enable your team, or use it to make you do your job easier and better. Keep, in general, maximize the LOS of your team so you can help anyone at any given point. If you're going to leave members of your team, it should be to enable people that want to play aggressively, whether that's through your petal or just through something they've done on their own, like when your DPS rotated high ground on attack A. And then your life pool can't really comment on it because it just wasn't used all that much for like things we mentioned before. Think about your trees aggressively when you're on attack. That would be like retaking as well on defense if you had to, if they were pushed up ahead of space, ahead of the cart, or if it was on like control or something. Anytime you need to take space, put it aggressively. Anytime you're trying to hold it, what you did was fine, placing it on the objective. And then if people aren't in immediate danger, try and charge up the healing to 75 because I think that's it is better healing per second to use the full charge of it. It just obviously has longer durations between when they receive the healing. So if they're not in immediate danger and they don't need constant topping up, then I think using the full extent of it is good. But yeah, I hope that all made sense. If any of it doesn't, definitely message me. And if you have anything that you even disagree with, Lifeweaver is still a relatively new hero, someone I haven't coached a lot of because he wasn't even very playable until recently. So definitely feel free to mention that or question things I may have said. More than open to criticism or just theory crafting in terms of the hero, because I think it's still very up for debate. He hasn't even really been played in the pro scene that much until maybe recently more so. So yeah, all the best with your games. Hopefully that helped, and yeah, good luck.